Phil, you're in a great position. You probably have this conversation every day because people are sensitive to it. What do you tell them? And hey, in 2026, tax rates are going to go up. How do you coach them? How do you get them thinking about planning and detaxing their IRA and all that fun stuff?
Yeah, this is a big part of retirement planning, and these tax hikes have been coming. And there's really two things that could happen. So there's one school of thought that, hey, both sides of the aisle have actually talked about extending the current tax code, keeping taxes low, which would play with what's happened the last 20, 30 years. Basically, every president has tried to lower tax rates. So let's say they continue with that and they say, hey, you know what? We're not going to let it expire. We're going to continue them. Well, then they're just going to target what they've shown to target with the Secure Act. That means they still want retirees to pay as little in taxes during their retirement because they know they're going to come around and get it from the widow or from the kiddos. So option one is they don't screw you now, but they will screw you later.
Hold on real quick. So walk them through the widows and kiddos. So I
Yeah.
think what Phil's diving into here is, your IRA, your
Mhm.
biggest taxable account. They're salivating. The government knows that the biggest account on your balance sheet that hasn't been taxed yet is your 401k and IRA. And if you don't touch it and it ends up going that your spouse passes, your rates will double when you have to take money out. Or even worse, and what they're really counting on is that it goes to your kids.
Yep.
And when your kids take it out, obviously they're paying at their higher earning rates. People think that it's their tax rates. It's not, it's their kids. And that's really the hope. You have a $500,000 IRA, you end up paying 40% on the, if it goes to your kids, if they're in those higher rates. And now you're paying $200,000, almost half your IRA because you kicked the can and waited until 73. And I think that's what Phil's alluding to in his first point is be careful. Make sure you have a actual tax plan for your IRA. You're not using Uncle Sam's.
Yeah. You want options. Well, the reality is you just actually have to take it out. And that's the play is everyone says, hey, save it in there. You're going to be in a lower tax bracket. And then you retire. And a lot of people are in a lower tax bracket, but their advisor just vanishes when it comes to tax talk. And the idea is, hey, just keep it in there now. Don't touch it. So the advice is let's overload this account in our working years. Let's retire and then not use it and let it keep growing and building. And that's the trap that Uncle Sam is playing on. So Greg alluded to, that's the idea of keep it in the IRA, keep it in the 401k, let it grow bigger and bigger because we're going to get the tax and it's actually going to come after you pass. It's going to come from your spouse. It's going to come from your kids. And that's why everything's been pointing to low taxes. So like we talked about, that's route one of this 2026 bill, or route two is that tax rates do get higher. And now we're just paying more each year with still those same looming threats through that widow and kiddo side.
I think, Randy, I saw an article. I believe they bump about 15%, not to the 15% bracket, but across the board, roughly about 15% higher, 15 to 20% higher. And that's pretty meaningful. I was looking for the average couple. That's an extra, $10,000 of tax coming out of their retirement a year. So that's a meaningful amount. And to get ahead of it, I think we look at it like we got a couple more years here where we can have taxes on sale.